What sparks truly transformative leadership? What is it about a compelling personality that doesn't just shape a nation in its moment, but somehow endures in our collective consciousness for generations?
It's a fascinating question.
It really is. And today, we're taking a deep dive into exactly that through the masterful lens of Edmund Morris's Pulitzer Prize-winning book, The Rise of Theodore Roosevelt.
A truly monumental work.
Absolutely. And just so you know, you are experiencing a unique two-voice AI conversation powered by Google's NotebookLM for deeper, more dynamic book analysis.
Right. And our mission today, it isn't just to summarize Roosevelt's formidable early years. We're really going to try and meticulously unpack how Morris crafted this narrative.
Okay.
We'll look at the powerful rhetorical strategies he used to sort of peel back the layers of Roosevelt's character, his motivations, making this work both a rigorous historical account and, well, an undeniable literary achievement.
Yeah, absolutely. Morris doesn't just tell you what happened. He really shows you how Roosevelt became the larger-than-life figure we remember.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's start by setting the stage. Let's talk about the architect himself, Edmund Morris.
Right. So Morris, he was a South African-born literary biographer, and he brings this really extensive background to the table, particularly in political and historical narrative. His ethos, his credibility, it isn't just because he's a brilliant writer, though he certainly is. It's built on just painstaking research and really rare, unprecedented access to Roosevelt's personal archives. This deep dive into primary sources, it established this remarkably strong authorial voice, which, rightfully earned the book critical acclaim the moment it hit the shelves.
And the timing of its release, 1979, that was genuinely fascinating, wasn't it?
Oh, definitely.
It came out during this distinct revival of American biographical writing, especially in the post-Watergate era. People were really grappling with questions about presidential character, the nature of leadership.
Exactly. That context made Morris's examination of Roosevelt incredibly resonant for an American audience. People were hungry for that kind of insight.
So who was he writing for, primarily?
Well, Morris wrote this for pretty much anyone fascinated by American presidents, the nuts and bolts of politics, or simply what makes a person tick, from the seasoned scholar to someone just looking for a really compelling story.
Okay.
It also found immense value among students, educators, people looking for inspiration from historical figures. Morris's clear purpose was to reveal with really profound insight how Roosevelt evolved from this sickly child into one of America's most dynamic presidents.
So it had this wonderful dual function. Yes, to inform and inspire, but also, as you said, to elevate biography itself into a true literary art form.
Precisely.
What's so compelling is how Morris wasn't just presenting facts. He was building a narrative that felt incredibly alive, almost cinematic.
And that brings us right to the emotional core of the book. Morris's masterful use of pathos that appeal to emotion. He uses dramatic storytelling, vivid imagery from Roosevelt's early life to evoke these really powerful emotional responses in you, the reader.
Yeah.
Everything from admiration and excitement for his adventurous spirit to deep empathy for his personal losses, and even sometimes a touch of skepticism about his, larger-than-life self-construction.
This is where it gets truly immersive for me. Morris portrays Roosevelt's battles with childhood illness, especially that severe asthma. He writes it in such a way that you feel his relentless struggle for breath, his desperate need to prove himself physically.
Right. It's not just a medical fact in the book?
No. It's a crucible moment, isn't it?
Okay.
Something that fuels his later drive for that strenuous life.
And then there's his transformative immersion in the rugged Badlands of North Dakota. Morris just paints this picture of a man literally forging himself in the wilderness, hunting buffalo, riding these long trails, learning a kind of brutal self-reliance that would later define his political approach.
You can almost feel the dust in the wind.
You really can. And nothing, absolutely nothing, hits harder than the profoundly personal loss of his beloved first wife, Alice, and his mother, Mittie, on the very same day. It's almost unbelievable.
It's staggering. How does Morris handle that?
He recounts this almost unbelievable tragedy with such raw yet somehow understated power. He shows how this catastrophic event didn't break Roosevelt, which you might expect, but instead became the ultimate catalyst for his unyielding resilience. It hardened his resolve, pushed him towards public life with this ferocious energy.
Right.
These personal trials, as Morris illustrates, they weren't just events. They were the very foundation upon which his larger-than-life persona was built. And it invites you, the reader, to admire his grit, but also maybe reflect on the intense self-fashioning involved.
Right. That profound emotional foundation then transitions so seamlessly into the logical progression of his public triumphs. Morris is just meticulous in structuring the narrative chronologically. You see this clear, almost inevitable logical path from Roosevelt's deep personal trials to his remarkable public achievements. It's like watching a man deliberately sculpt his own destiny.
Which raises a key question. How does Morris maintain that logical appeal, the logos, amidst such dramatic, emotional storytelling?
Good point.
Well, he does it through robust evidence. He anchors every claim about Roosevelt's philosophy, his actions, with ample primary sources. We see Roosevelt's own passionate personal letters, his soaring public speeches that captivated the nation, and extensive period journalism that captured the zeitgeist.
So the facts are always there.
Always. This factual rigor underpins the book's credibility, ensuring it's not just a captivating story, but a reliable historical account that you can actually trust.
It really feels like the perfect blend, doesn't it? That emotional draw combined with solid, unimpeachable evidence. And speaking of crafting a narrative, Morris's literary skill is just phenomenal.
Oh, absolutely.
He uses this elevated, energetic, sometimes even florid language, but it's always accessible. And his syntax is incredibly varied. He'll use these long, winding, descriptive sentences for building drama and atmosphere.
Right.
And then suddenly hit you with short, punchy lines that deliver this really powerful emphasis.
And you truly feel immersed in the world Morris creates through his vivid imagery. He doesn't just tell you about the era, he paints these detailed scenes that bring the period to life. You can almost smell the coal smoke, hear the clatter of carriages on the teeming cobblestone streets of Gilded Age New York. You feel the biting wind, sense the vast isolation of those stark, rugged Dakota landscapes where Roosevelt found himself, and he takes you right into the shadowy, often smoky political backrooms where power was truly wielded, where deals were cut.
He also uses figurative language so effectively, doesn't he?
Constantly.
Like when he describes Roosevelt rising like a rocket through the political ranks. It's a simple phrase, but so powerful in conveying his rapid, almost explosive ascent.
Exactly. And the tone shifts seamlessly, which is key to keeping you hooked over hundreds of pages. It moves from admiration and suspense to moments of pure humor, then to deep reflection, maintaining this absolutely engaging pace throughout.
Structurally, how does he pull that off?
Well, from a structural perspective, the chronological organization is key. It allows for this really organic character evolution. You see Roosevelt's growth from a sickly intellectual boy to a formidable, action-oriented politician in a natural unfolding way.
Right, it feels earned.
It does. And Morris also employs repetition and parallelism to underscore recurring themes, things like struggle against adversity, relentless ambition, profound personal transformation. He reinforces those core messages with subtle power.
And I love his use of juxtaposition. He effectively contrasts Roosevelt's youthful idealism with his later political pragmatism, showing how his beliefs adapted to the realities of power.
That's a great point.
Or he'll sharply contrast his childhood frailty with his almost superhuman public vie. It's just a clever way of showing the full, complex picture of a man who is constantly evolving and, frankly, often contradictory.
And this leads us right into Morris's more advanced techniques and how he masterfully addresses the nuances and contradictions that were just inherent in Roosevelt's character.
Okay, like what?
Well, he uses allusions, for instance. He references classical literature, sometimes drawing analogies to Greek tragedy or weaving in elements of American myth-making. So comparing a challenge Roosevelt faced to a Greek tragedy doesn't just sound grand. It elevates the struggle, invites us to see Roosevelt's life as a kind of epic, shaping our perception of his destiny.
Interesting. And the irony and humor he injects are brilliant, too.
Yes. Morris uses them to highlight Roosevelt's eccentricities and contradictions, and believe me, there were many.
I bet.
It's done with both amusement and an underlying critique. It shows you that while he clearly admired Roosevelt, he wasn't afraid to look at the whole man, warts and all. He's definitely not shying away from the uncomfortable truths.
That's so important for biography, isn't it? Avoiding hagiography.
Absolutely critical. And what's truly illuminating here is how Morris neither blindly idolizes nor unduly demonizes Roosevelt. He explores his virtues and contradictions with incredible nuance. Crucially, the book openly addresses Roosevelt's flaws, his imperialist tendencies, his privileged background, his occasional aggression, that almost reckless pursuit of strenuousness.
Right.
It shows how these elements were deeply woven into his broader worldview, a product of his time and his unique psychological makeup. This demonstrates Morris's unwavering commitment to balanced, trustworthy narration, allowing you, the reader, to form your own complex understanding of the man.
And he often uses rhetorical questions, doesn't he? Sort of nudging the reader.
He does. He invites you to consider Roosevelt's choices within broader ethical and political contexts, really encouraging critical thinking about the historical events and the man himself. It makes for a very active reading experience.
It really does.
Now, as we reflect on Morris's profound craftsmanship and the way he pulls us into the heart of history, we wanted to briefly highlight our mindful moments. This is our YouTube channel, offering concise AI book analyses designed to inspire reflection and rational thought.
Yeah, they're great bite-sized companions to these conversations.
Exactly. A perfect companion to these deeper dives, especially if you enjoy dissecting how powerful stories are told.
Okay, so shifting back to The Rise of Theodore Roosevelt, Morris absolutely achieved his stated purpose, wouldn't you say?
Without a doubt. He delivers this incredibly in-depth, compelling account of Roosevelt's personal and political ascendancy. It provides both profound entertainment and truly vital illumination. He doesn't just tell you about Roosevelt, he helps you understand him.
And in doing so, he really expanded the genre of biography itself.
He really did. He blended exhaustive historical detail with high literary quality in a way that, frankly, few biographers manage. This wasn't just a chronicle, it was a character study and a sweeping epic, making Roosevelt accessible and multidimensional for modern readers.
And the book is remarkably appropriate for its audience, which is quite a feat, balancing different reader expectations.
It's a testament to Morris's skill. It meets the expectations for both academic and general readers. It engages lay audiences with its dramatic narrative while still being sophisticated enough for seasoned scholars. That emotional resonance appeals widely, and the factual rigor sustains its credibility even under intense scrutiny.
The book's logical consistency is also really strong.
Absolutely. That chronological structure ensures coherence, and while Morris employs occasional literary embellishments like those dramatic metaphors we discussed, they consistently enhance the narrative without ever undermining factual accuracy. Morris successfully avoids that common pitfall of mere summarization.
Right, he's not just listing events.
No, he's probing the how and why of Roosevelt's rise, examining the rhetorical, psychological, and cultural forces at play. He's not just device hunting either. Every rhetorical device highlighted serves a larger strategic function, showing how it fosters engagement or builds credibility.
And it feels deeply steeped in its historical context.
Exactly. Explaining how Roosevelt's circumstances and America's evolving identity shaped both the man and the biography itself. It really is a masterclass in biographical artistry. And Morris maintains that critical distance, focusing on the text's construction, rather than letting his personal opinion overshadow the narrative.
Which makes it such a trustworthy account.
Precisely. A truly remarkable example of how to bring history to life with integrity.
So, wrapping up, what does this all mean for us today? I think the enduring complexity of power, leadership, and American identity, as illuminated by Morris's book, remains incredibly relevant.
I agree.
A masterful biography like this doesn't just teach us history, it can profoundly shape our understanding of human character, reminding us that even the most monumental figures were forged by struggle and contradiction.
Well said. And we hope this deep dive has offered you a fresh perspective on a monumental figure and really a groundbreaking book. For more insightful explorations like this, remember to check out our Mindful Moments on YouTube.
Yeah, and explore all of our podcasts for more fascinating deep dives into important books and ideas.
Definitely.
If you enjoyed this discussion, please subscribe right here. Share it with someone who loves history or just great storytelling. And maybe consider purchasing The Rise of Theodore Roosevelt via the link in our description to explore these ideas further for yourself.
It's well worth the read.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And above all, we urge you to always think critically about the narratives that shape our understanding of the world.